Hello everyone, this is The Human Mechanism. I love the World Peacekeepers toy line. It is excellent. Their variety of realistic modern-day vehicles is second to none. Plus, with the announcement of a new World Peacekeepers MRAP vehicle, which, if released, would make it the first proper 1/18 scale MRAP, it just makes my love for them even more justified. Even more big news came as of a few days ago. On October 26th, M&C Toys put out an advertisement showing all of the jet fighters they have produced so far. For the record, the A-10 is not a fighter, but I'll forgive them for that. But reading the description of the post made me jump with excitement. M&C Toys was actually reaching out to fans to find out which jet fighters we wanted them to make next. There were many suggestions. There were calls for F-16s, F-22s, F-35s, MiG-29s, Eurofighters, Gripens, etc. All very good ideas. But then, there were other suggestions. There were calls for obsolete aircraft, such as, among other things, the P-40 Warhawk and the Corsair. Besides the fact that M&C Toys asked for jet fighters, things like the P-40 and the Corsair simply don't match with the World Peacekeepers aesthetic, which is exclusively modern-day vehicles, or at least ones that are still in widespread use. Another suggestion I saw was for an OV-10 Bronco. Okay, first of all, the OV-10 is a turboprop counterinsurgency aircraft, nowhere near a fighter, let alone a jet fighter. But guys, come on. This is one of the very few instances where a company is actually reaching out to us to find out what jet fighter we want them to make. Yet, you guys are suggesting obsolete aircraft, some of which have already been made by other companies? Seriously? It's not the fact that you like these aircraft. The problem is that you are suggesting that they be made by a company that needs to make money and entertain a fan base. That being said, there was one suggestion that really got on my nerves. Guys, we do not need another F-14 Tomcat. The toy market is already oversaturated with F-14-like aircraft. I'm sick of it. Kids Connection has a version of the F-14 Tomcat. True Heroes has a version of the F-14 Tomcat. JSI made a proper 1/18 scale F-14 Tomcat that you have to take out a loan for. And the G.I. Joe toy line has practically idolized the damn thing. Yet you guys want another one? Are you kidding me? I'd rather M&C Toys just re-release their Su-27 in different colors if that means not getting another F-14. We have to look at this from a business standpoint. 1/18 scale collectors are not going to be excited by yet another Tomcat. We need a modern aircraft that is recognizable. When was the last time you've heard of the OV-10 Bronco? I'm guessing you haven't heard about it in recent memory, unless you're following its dwindling service with the Filipino Air Force and its spattering of close air support missions with the U.S. Armed Forces. A Bronco will simply not sell. We also have to take into account that military collectors are very conscious of the vehicles they are buying. They dig into the nuances of the vehicle, they research it beforehand. That being said, an aircraft with an exciting mission sounds like it would do the trick. Something that can patrol the skies and attack the ground if necessary. Unlike the OV-10 that has a role that is pretty much tethered to the ground. It's an attack aircraft, but is primarily used as a forward aircraft controller, meaning it calls out ground targets for more powerful aircraft to attack for close air support missions. I think we need an airplane that does the striking, instead of one that just calls out targets. An aircraft with a mission of the OV-10 Bronco would be an underwhelming comeback in terms of aircraft for a company that hasn't produced a new 1/18 scale flying machine for the better part of a decade, the last of which being the J-11, which M&C Toys released around 2011. That's not even counting the fact that M&C Toys asked for fighter jets, not turboprop aircraft. Look, I don't mean to pick on the Bronco, it's a fine aircraft. I'm simply using it as an example. When it comes to the P-40 and the Corsair, we already have those. In fact, the companies that make them have multiple versions of them. They don't need to be made again. So, what is my suggestion for a jet fighter for M&C Toys to make? It's a no-brainer. We need an aircraft that is going to excite the 1/18 scale community. Something that 1/18 scale fans will flock to. My suggestion is the F-15C Eagle. 3 3/4 inch compatible F-15s have been few and far between, and that's being extremely generous. There are only two examples I can think of. There's the F-15 from M&C Toys, but it's not at all proportionally accurate and takes too many liberties with the design. It also takes some design cues from the G.I. Joe Sky Striker. The last example are the F-15s by Ertl from 1988. These were advertised as being compatible with 3 3/4 inch figures, and sure enough, they fit old 3 3/4 inch figures quite well, but they've aged terribly. They are exceedingly rare, and are not compatible with modern 3 3/4 inch to 4 inch figures. The aircraft itself is way too small, and problems with details are abound, including a massive gap between the air intakes, which is not at all accurate. 1/18 scale F-15s not only need an upgrade, there needs to be more of them. The F-15 Eagle is one of the most successful and versatile jet fighters of all time, capable of both air superiority and close air support, and is easily recognizable. Yet, when it comes to the 1/18 scale, toy companies seem to be allergic to the Eagle. That's not to say companies haven't tried. JSI displayed a prototype of a 1/18 Eagle at one point. After that, it was never seen again, and for all we know is just collecting dust somewhere. Granted, that was a display model intended for adult collectors. The important thing is what a 3 3/4 to 4 inch compatible F-15 would mean for collectors. The 1/18 community is a fandom of customizers and army builders, and with massive amounts of recognition on its side, if it is made, it will sell, with many people buying more than one F-15 to fill their air force. Am I going to be upset if M&C Toys doesn't make an F-15? No, absolutely not. If they end up making a MiG-29, an F-35, or a Eurofighter, I would be really excited. Those would be new aircraft for the 1/18 scale world and would sell really well. Some of them need even better 1/18 scale treatment than the Eagle does. It's just that if I were given the choice, I would nominate the F-15C as the next jet fighter for M&C Toys to produce. And that's what I'm doing right now. Dear M&C Toys, I nominate the F-15C. With that said, this has been The Human Mechanism. See you all later. Yo Joe.